Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Reach Your Happy with Laura. Currently in the world, all the time, there is immense suffering. In particular, today, I'm feeling like the heart needs a little bit of love. So, this is going to be a heart chakra healing. If you are open to receiving this healing, just keep listening. You can be driving, you can be laying down, you can even be sleeping. Whatever state you're in, trusting that this healing will take root and expand in ways that will pleasantly surprise you. So today, focusing in on the heart, the first message that I'm getting is how we're feeling this squeeze. So think about maybe watching an animal try to fit into a place it can't quite fit or just barely can fit into. And thinking about the pressure, the tension, even some of the fear that comes up in the mind of like, can I make it through this? Am I going to die here? Is this going to suffocate me? Is this going to squeeze the life out of me? In our heart chakra, because we are one human race, when one suffers, we all can sense that on some level. So our heart is feeling this pressure, this squeeze. And the heart is inviting us to recline and relax. When the heart feels under pressure, when it is feeling the intensity of being alive and feeling a bit helpless, our usual, and I say we do this as humans, our usual approach is to keep pushing, keep moving, keep forcing, keep plugging away, right? Think about that animal. I'm thinking of like a little mouse trying to fit through a little tiny tunnel. And it's like to push yourself to do something that your heart, your mind, your body, because of the state of the world, it's really hard to make your way through that tunnel. And so asking yourself, in what ways can I back out of the tightness? How can I get away from, because to feel something so intensely is valuable, but also knowing the fine line of forcing yourself when it just isn't a fit. So what would backing up look like? Maybe cutting down on commitments for today, if that's possible. Checking in with the heart, what that even means. Well, it's different for everybody. For me, when I check in with my heart, I like to take my hands behind my back and interlace my fingers, and it's actually a yoga pose where you like stretch open your heart. And it's not just about the chest stretch, it is really about the heart opening. It is inviting the heart to be heard, to be opened, despite this feeling of perhaps intense pressure, perhaps just deep, heavy sadness, perhaps incredible amounts of terror and fear. So by opening up my heart, stretching my chest out, and bringing my conscious awareness to this heart space, it invites an opening, and immediately you will start to feel some sort of sensation. Maybe when you check in with your heart, you feel overflowing love. Maybe today, if you were to do this heart check-in, could be just a palm on your chest, could just be this intention of bringing the mind down into the heart center and getting present there. Whatever comes up, giving space for that today. When I was doing yoga this morning and I was doing a heart opener because I could feel the contraction. I'm on social media, I'm reading about children having lost their lives and teachers and the intensity of this experience that we're in. And I wanted to contract, I wanted to close, but instead I invited the opening to go towards the area that, rather, towards the motion that's going to allow some movement instead of stagnation. So when we're in trouble, when we're having a challenging time, the natural response is to close, is to tighten. And I, with this heart chakra healing, am asking and inviting, if you feel ready to step into this. You don't have to. You can sit back and stay tight there. That's okay too. But I'm offering an invitation for you to open the heart, to allow the deep feelings that you have to exist, to not stuff more down with all the different things going on, all the tragedies in the world. We acknowledge it, we see it, we feel pain about it, we feel fear about it, and then we have to keep on moving on. And I'm inviting just a little bit of space in for my heart. And what that's given to me today is this extreme level of gratitude that I am safe in my home, that though a human being, friend of mine, was harmed and their family and the repercussions of that still exists. And I am also experiencing great gratitude for the quiet. And I have my own predicaments, but as if we could just kind of put it to the side and bring ourselves into this heart center. And what that gifts the world is, if a passerby comes into your experience, if someone calls you really fearful, you're already rooted in the center of who you are, which is love. If you're watching, see what I'm saying here? I'm choosing to radiate love instead of contract. And when we experience such events, we do have a choice if we lean into love and open, while, fear still remains in that. I'm still thinking in the back of my mind about all the little children and teachers that I know and love, and would be beside myself if that was someone even closer to me than what it already is. That still remains while I'm tapping into the love that I am. And it can feel a little bit selfish to think about putting blinders on, staying away from the media, not talking about it if you don't have the space to do it. But it is an act of love, and any act of love, even if it's just for you, and I'm air quoting just for you, it is actually for all. It's an invitation for all to come to this place within them. In the heart chakra, it holds grief. It holds those feelings of abandonment and betrayal and loss and love. So it is all of that. We are not neglecting any kind of emotion here, but instead inviting this spaciousness, noticing our desire to want to kind of squeeze through the day and just get through it. And maybe that's the best route for you, but maybe there's also another way that you feel called to do today. So I said heart chakra healing, but I'm feeling an intense ping in the third eye space. So I'm going to be working on the third eye space as well. You may feel like putting your hands over your face, even your, hand behind your head and on your forehead, if that feels comfortable to you. And what an incredible thing to deeply know that there has got to be a change. And so when we have a problem and we are aware that it needs to change, what we really need is a plan. And what motivates us more than anything is being in the discomfort and saying, I've got to make a change. I've got to stand up for this. I've got to petition. I've got to, whatever your act of service is. That said, your act of service doesn't have to be out in the world. Your act of service can be you tending to your heart, you tending to your thoughts and your fear, and tending to it, meaning allowing it to exist, feeling it, acknowledging the younger version of you, the little you, little Laura, little Mary, little Joe, little whatever your name is. Acknowledging what their relationship, what that version of you's relationship is to fear and traumatic events and heartache and loss and confusion. Letting the loss of anything invite you deeper into your true knowing. Letting your pain be a trail map into the center of your heart. Knowing that your pain that you're experiencing is not just felt by you, but by the collective consciousness. That each individual we pass by on the street or pass in the car or see at the grocery store or even think about, see on social media, that they too have the depths that you have, that they can feel the range of emotions that you can feel. And what a beautiful thing it is that we have this likeness about us. That we can have such compassion for strangers, because though they are strangers in the general use of that word and meaning of that word, we are one humankind. So our hearts break for them. And like I said, I can be my heart can break and be deeply present in the knowing that my work is within me, in accessing the love that's within me and emanating that more in the world. And if your mind is just spinning and you can't make sense of this, because it's something like, how do you make sense of such suffering in the world? Reminding yourself that I too am affected by this. I am not a victim, but I am human and I am feeling this so strongly. So maybe a mental health day is in order, where you deliberately choose to notice what you consume and allow yourself to cocoon as much as you can, to allow a healing to take place, to allow yourself to process the intensity that you're feeling in your life right now. The heart has no end in terms of depth. Every time I felt like my heart broke, right? Heart shape here, it broke and broke and broke and broke and broke and broke, and to the point where like my heart is as big as beyond my arms, beyond, I can't even explain how big my heart is. And it's broken over and over and over again. My heart breaks a little bit every time someone comes to me with pain, with sadness, with loss, with fear, with a problem. And though my heart breaks, it continues to get larger. ability to feel and be present with someone else and their pain continues to expand. So our hearts aching and breaking open is actually creating more space for more love, for more generosity, for more moments of I see you, I am scared too, and I love you. We have access to that within our suffering. And if one part of you is thinking, is it appropriate that I'm that upset? Like, is it well, let's dig into that. Is it appropriate for you to feel so deeply for others? Sure it is, because you are one with them. We are from the same source, the same creator. Whether you believe in God or don't, it doesn't matter. We are one humankind. So is it appropriate for you to feel how you feel right now? Without a doubt. How you feel ever is always appropriate. There is nothing wrong with how you feel. Are there sometimes beliefs we need to change? Yeah, that could help assist that feeling to transmute into something more true to who we have become. Sure. But that's a whole different topic. I'm talking about the heartache. And what happens when we open ourselves up to yourself, when you take that moment to stretch your heart open or put your hand on your heart and just feel, you are accessing a large part of who you are. There are it's like the secrets of life, of what life is about, what humankind and what we're here for is about. These secrets are hidden in plain sight. They're within you, they're within your neighbor, they're within your child, your dog, the spider in your house. They're within everything. It's intertwined with everything. It's so close to us, we can hardly see that. What we really are seeking is love within our own hearts for ourselves. To remind ourselves of our goodness. To remind ourselves of our wholeness and the purity that remains despite any actions, any nonsense you've gone up to. So on that note, from my heart to yours, I see you, I appreciate you, I love you. Thank you for showing up for this healing today. It will take root and expand in ways that will pleasantly surprise you. Taking care of your physical body, drinking water, getting outside, grounding yourself, putting some buffers up perhaps if you feel you need it from the outside world into you, and allowing yourself the space to just exist in all that you are and all that you have become. You are so loved, and I promise you it's going to be okay. We thank you, angels. We thank you, guides. We thank you, team of the highest light, for this collective consciousness's healing. We trust that the highest good of all is always being served. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will talk to you soon. Take good care.